Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Esports Wales Weekly. This is going to be a chat show where we talk about many different things, gaming related, esports related. First off, we're going to start off by talking about a little bit of game news, then move on to news from in Esports Wales, and then move on to a little bit of news of just general esports news and also some Welsh esports players. So, first off, my first guest, if you'd like to introduce yourself. That's John.
Hey, so hi, all right. So I'm Slade John. Started EsportsWales back in November time. Or started pushing it back in November time. Looking to sort of grow the grassroots of esports in Wales. Sort of just promote gaming and sort of esports. The reason why I'm looking across here is I got the stream over the site. I'll bring it across, so I'm not looking back and forth. That's pretty much me. I've been doing gaming. I don't know, for about sort of 15 years, 16 years. Sort of started off in like Counter-Strike 1.6, then moving through a couple of clans, and then sort of going into orgs and stuff. And this is the latest in a long line of esports stuff. But yeah, that's me, I think.
Alex, if you'd like to go ahead.
So yeah, obviously I'm Alex. I'm the Chief Community Officer here at Esports Wales. So I just deal with all the community stuff that goes on, so all the community nights, so the events that we host. Mostly, thing I have to do with the community, it will be under me. Deal moderation team and all that. And John, I've been gaming, well, not for as long as John has been gaming, because obviously I'm a little bit younger. not that much younger, but a little. But Beard's gaming a long time, and this is just the next stage in what I'm doing.
Okay, Craze, if you'd like to give yourself a bit of an introduction.
Hey, so first off, we're going to make this as quick as possible because of the fact this is like the first episode. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is James, or Craze, as some of you may more commonly know me. I'm a business analyst for Esports Wales, so I develop a lot of like the opportunities and look at the market and stuff like that. I originally was a Call of Duty player back when Modern Warfare 2 came out. I had my own clan. From that, I jumped about a little bit and ended up as like a Dota 2 professional caster. Worked with people like OD Pixel and some big names there. Ended up finishing off my degree, and now I'm back in the game, as they say. And thank you for moving the follower alert from my face. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, well, after those quick introductions, I myself am JakeyBoyPro. I am the streaming manager for Esports Wales, and this is what I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, just over a month now, and I'm glad to finally see it come to fruition. So we're going to kick it off by talking about a little bit of game news that we've had. Obviously, we had E3 happen over a month ago now, but seeing as it's quite a big gaming event and one of the biggest of the year, we felt it may be appropriate to talk about it here. So I'm going to let Alex take that away for us.
Okay, lovely guys. So obviously, last month and a bit, we've also had the E3 announcements over in Los Angeles. Big probably is, like Jay said, the biggest gaming event in the world when it comes to announcing new games outside of, well, any other gaming conferences. So obviously, probably the biggest thing that anyone can know about whether it came out of E3 this year was Project Scarlet from Microsoft and Xbox. So obviously, newest game console, next generation games console, since the last ones came out in 2013. Everyone's starting to now prepare for the newest generation, which obviously will lead on to a new generation of esports games as well. So with the console, there is obviously Halo Infinite coming out, which will probably end up being a new esports game in that respect. Halo's got an old.
I'm really looking forward to the Halo stuff. I don't know about you guys. But,
oh yeah,
I have.
I love the Halo stuff before, and that sort of stuff.
I'm looking forward to Halo coming on to actual PC.
That's
like
big,
console players or anything. But like there's FPSs on PC are like a whole different level to console games, so it should be insane.
Oh yeah, definitely. Console, obviously, a lot of console games now, such as like Forza, have obviously moved to play or PC as well, thanks to the Xbox Play, which was released, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago now. I think something like that. I much prefer it that way personally, and especially since I'm into my racing games as well, it helps a lot when I try to play games, and because it runs a lot better on PC than it does on Xbox, even with something like an Xbox One X, which is rather odd. But obviously, not just Project Scarlet was announced. There was a fair number of new games announced. including probably everyone's favorite, Cyberpunk 2077.
I don't know. I like.
Oh,
Yeah, when you say everyone's favorite, that one wasn't. That wasn't mine. It was. Yeah, like I think some of these games, I think like I've seen Anthem and stuff like that released in the past, and then they've just been like overhyped. Now, like I love the look of it, but I love the look of like Anthem. I don't know about you guys. Like
Anthem, yeah, that looked
Yeah.
really good, but obviously the launch wasn't very successful with that game.
yeah,
Obviously, a lot of like the hype that was obviously built up into E3 has obviously not gone into the game, which is it's quite a big meme at this point, where the E3 trailer looks all nice and pretty, and then you get to the game and it's just a stick figure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it does look good. You know, it's I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I'm sort of
Yeah,
hesitant, especially some of the games I've seen in recent years.
yeah,
It's like there's levels, isn't there? You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's an observation with the sector, with gaming overall generally, is that we've had a lot of these kind of like bigger games come out recently that have just been like so disappointing. So the one that really personally affected me was Thief. Like when they did the Thief remake, and I was like, this looks awesome, and I'm so looking forward to it, and it was trash.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case now of having to be careful and doing the classic vote with your wallet kind of strategy.
The one for me, which was it's a hell of a long time ago now, was Diablo 3 because I loved Diablo 2 so much, and then I used to play that all the time, and then Diablo 3 came out, and there was issues with the store and stuff, and they fixed most of it now, and it's like a decent game, but it just yeah, that sort of initial hype. If you don't get the thing, then yeah, you kind of lose it. But yeah, well, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it will be a great game.
It's a topic that you definitely want to be wrong on, especially since Cyberpunk 2077 has seen so much hype come from it, and obviously what they've released, I am kind of skeptical how it will end up being in the end. Obviously, got people like Keanu Reeves who are taking part in it, obviously big names now who are somehow just actually venturing into the gaming industry, and hopefully that will, if they have it, will bear influence on that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, because it's Bethesda. Was it Bethesda? No, it's not Bethesda. Who is it that does this one actually? It's like I've heard of the company name, I just can't remember it. But hopefully they can do a good job of it. They got the right people on board, and we guess it's just be a case of waiting to see at this point. But obviously, not just Cyberpunk 2077 was released or revealed of this. We have Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and obviously Marvel Avengers. Which, to be honest, is one of the games I am interested to see what comes out of it, because obviously we've got games such as Marvel for VR, which I do have, and it's quite good. But it's going to be interesting to see how they will put that into an actual video game. Obviously, judged by the slideshow which we had before, the graphical comparing something like how a lot of games portray celebrities, they a little bit off. But hopefully, when the game comes out, it should be quite good, and hopefully, it doesn't catch the E3 disease or whatever it's called, where it looks very pretty, gets the game, and it's not very good.
Yeah, so moving on from that E3 news, there's been some rumours going around of a potential new Overwatch game, and I think John's a big fan of Overwatch, so I think it's best for him to talk about this.
Yeah. Well, Overwatch has been my game now for, I don't know, the last like year and a half, I'd say, maybe a bit longer. It was very much LOL, and then with League, I just sort of fell out of love with League a bit, and yeah, Overwatch sort of brought in that FPS as well as sort of having the players where you can sort of mix and having those comps and playing together. Like it was just something which I was just like, yep, I like this, play this. So I've been playing it for about a year and a half, sort of slowly moving up. The Overwatch 2 news, well, what's been rumored is that it's going to be a PvE. Now, I'm not sure how it's going to work really, but I don't know if you'll have the same characters being pushed through. Like what's called Blizzard has done this a couple of times now with sort of Diablo, World of Warcraft, and things like that, where you kind of see them sort of move into a sort of situation where they're sort of fixing issues with the games and sort of getting the game into a state ready for the drop of like a new patch, which I think will be the Overwatch 2. I don't know how it will work with the PvE. I'm a big fan of PvE stuff. There's like Borderlands, Destiny, Division 2, like all that stuff. Sort of when it's like 4 people co-op playing in an environment. Like those are my type of games. But I can't see it how it can sort of you can port those characters across into a PvE environment without having some sort of like change. I think the way they're sort of angling Overwatch now, like it's rumored that you're going to end up having sort of role restrictions and things like that going into sort of games. Whether with sort of the building up to it with Overwatch 2, whether they sort of implement that, there'll be like I think it'll be multiple characters dropping in, sort of rather than just one. I think it'll be sort of like 4 or 5 new characters coming into it. And with those then characters, they'll sort of strengthen sort of this build, sort of change the sort of standard kind of sort of mechanic of Overwatch. I think it's going to be similar to something like we've seen in StarCraft, where they've sort of dropped the patch, and then with that patch, they brought in sort of new units to sort of change the meta and sort of change it in a way that sort of they can manipulate the meta easier. And I think that's the way it's going. Like I don't know if I don't know what chat sort of thinks in on Twitch, or you guys think about how it's moving forward.
So to come back to Overwatch for a little bit, so because I was a really big fan of Overwatch when it initially came out, and then I think with engagement for any kind of video games, you have to have your friends playing it as well, and I did not have that because we all came from a pretty heavy Dota background. So as far as it all concerns me a little bit, to be honest with you, because if you look at the lore of Overwatch, right, you can see that they've already kind of defined their kind of their beginning points, their middle points, their end points. They've already started to fill out where 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 the Overwatch was kind of initially formed, and then how kind of Reaper, whatever his actual name is, split off, and all of that kind of stuff. I've like completely not been playing the game recently, in case you can't tell. So it's they've already kind of started to define that. So where do you go as far as a prequel to what is already kind of standardized canon? Like, because you already have the beginning point, you know what I mean? So how do you go beginning of the beginning? Like, for me, it feels like, I don't know, maybe what they did going through with the initial game is because they jumped around too much in the timeline with their special events, is it means that they kind of shoehorn themselves a little bit when it comes to like prequels or sequels, because they kind of have to fill the gaps and give that lore. Because I think that's something that Overwatch players kind of care a lot about, is that lore. But fingers crossed, if it's anything like the first game, it will be fun kind of regardless.
Well,
and I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to add to the first game. So I think it's going to be a case of, like, the first game you'll have the same sort of structure, then potentially have a few more units, and then this sort of PvE environment, whether it'll be totally separate, and then you'll have maybe like one champion which you'd play, or like there'd be sort of like story modes or something along those lines. So you would end up playing, I don't know, like a group of some of that lore, which you've sort of said, and you'll be playing that PvE environment of that lore. It's just the only thing is, like, a lot of the heroes in Overwatch is their abilities are kind of sort of, they work in sort of PvP. They don't really work in PvE. Now, I don't know how you're going to get that. Like maybe it'd be like items or something along those lines, which they'll bring in that in sort of that game mode. But yeah, it's sort of, I think until we sort of until we have a bit more, then yeah, it's just sort of up in the air, and everyone's sort of after a bit of discussion, really. But I think it's definitely going to be good for Overwatch. I think some of the changes they're bringing on now, like the community have wanted for a long time, and I think they're sort of seeing it as as soon as this is coming out, what they're doing is getting Overwatch in the state where it's going like, right, okay, now this is ready for another patch to come on top, and sort of feeding that community, getting the hype already, and then when the new patch comes out or the new game comes out, all the community is going to be all over. But yeah,
it looks like it could end up being quite an interesting game if it does actually come to fruition. But
it's kind of like, I think it's going to be kind of like what like sort of TFT's done for League recently. Okay, you might not have that many players playing League, but they're opening up the client, they're jumping back on, they're playing with the same sort of guys, it's building that community back in, where it's a different game. And if they can sort of combine it where you've got that PvE which you can play through, and you get the people wanting to play that sort of type of game, playing that, as well as then being able to jump in and play comp together. I think it's definitely sort of good for moving forward with Overwatch.
Definitely. So, I mean, like as far as TFT goes, obviously I can't say I know that much about it, but it sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
It's built quite heavily off of the backbone of Dota Auto Chess.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I'm not going to turn this into a Dota versus League thing. I swear, I'm going to resist. I'm going to hold every bone in my body.
No, it's a
so
good thing to discuss because they're obviously both going to have their pros and cons. So it would be a good thing to discuss, not turn it into a free for all, so
Okay.
to say.
Yeah.
So without turning this into a fanboy fest, Dota existed, and then League stole some of their stuff, and then Dota 2 got released. So League is directly a copy of Dota. But that's not relevant to the current conversation. Let's go to the current conversation. Auto chess, okay? Dota 2 has previously supported a lot of kind of like mini games. Dota itself originally came out of a Warcraft 3 mod, right?
Yeah.
So Dota 2 did a very similar thing and supported kind of third-party mods, and that's led to a whole amazing community in itself. If you want to see some really interesting stuff, go on YouTube and search Dota 2 but community mods, where it's basically like really weird stuff like auras affect the entire map, or towers have infinite attack range, and really weird stuff like that. But this moves on to auto chess. So auto chess is basically an auto battler game. So you select your own heroes. You have to excuse my parrotlet; he wants to be involved. You have your own units, which are the same units as within the game. They have different classes. If you have different units of the same class, you get buffs, and then you level up those classes basically by getting more of the same unit. That's kind of the brief of it. And with auto chess, it was originally developed by a Chinese studio called Drogo. It absolutely blew up. Like there's periods of time where more people were playing auto chess than playing Dota. So that was quite weird. And now it's an interesting strategy that Valve are using because they're being very sort of communicative with kind of the player base in comparison to how they are with Dota.
Yeah,
that's definitely. They've released Underlords, basically auto chess, but Valve's version of it, and it's a lot more stable. It looks a lot better. It plays a lot better. You can play a lot of it, and it's a whole new kind of game, which is exciting. Have you guys played any of it?
No,
Nope.
I haven't. And the reason I haven't is that because League was, and as I said, I've got like 2,000-3,000 hours now on League. And that was everything is there. As I said, it's like I haven't jumped on League for a while because Overwatch has been more my game, and like I sort of from the hype from Dota, it was I was looking at Dota, I was looking to go and jump on and play it, and then I sort of saw with the TFT stuff, and it was just a case of going right, okay, I'll wait for the League one and then jump on that. From what I've heard, the Dota one is better. And from some of the stuff I've seen in the League one, from me playing it, it's like I can see how the Dota one is better. But then again, I'm back on the League one, and that's what I've been playing lately, and I find it quite good. I don't know, like I know they're going to be bringing out like rank modes and the battle pass and things like that. Well, that's what they're sort of saying they're going. I don't really know how it'll work. Like from a point of view of since I've been playing it, there's a lot of like random aspects of it, and because of that, you've kind of got. I've played poker quite a bit. I've played sort of games like that. I play chess. I play poker. It's when you play in those environments, you kind of it is a lot of randomness to the game, but it's sort of you can play the sort of percentage. You can play that with this game. I find and I think I found that in some of the card games like Hearthstone and that you're waiting on, like at least with those you kind of do your deck beforehand. With this, it is just luck. If like I've gone in and I've gone like, all right, I've got 6 of these champs, and all I need is like one to get finish my build, and I roll like 20 times and don't get it. In other ones, I roll once, get the champ straight away, and thing. And it's the same with the item drops and things like that. So there's so much like randomness to the games at the moment. I can't see where they're going other than just a way of sort of helping people back into the game, helping people build up that league community, and sort of knowing those champions, and it sort of makes it easier then as a sort of progression from league from TFT into league, and it's sort of a bit of a break playing with the community rather than playing league all the time. That's sort of where I see it. Like whether they will try and push it as like a sort of esports and competitive scene more, but yeah, like maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there is sort of some sort of mathical genius thing which you can do and sort of push you up. But I'm looking at it and I'm like everyone's sending around these cheat sheets, and I think as soon as you get those sheets, like and sort of you are working to a comp, whether that comp comes out, okay, you can switch to different ones, but you could switch to a different one and that one might not come out. So it's sort of
I mean, it's weird. So we need to move on, but like with the Dota one, it's kind of like it's kind of luck based, but I feel like it's mostly skill based, knowing how to play the game. So there's a lot of stuff around using your health pool as like an actual resource, making sure that you know, if you're on a losing streak and you're not going to be able to come back for a little bit, playing to that losing streak and being able to assess the situation, knowing your allies, as they're called in Underlords, and checking other players to see what they're building, to see if it's value to go down that route or to change out. At what point you have to start transitioning from an early game to a mid game to a late game build. So say, for example, your late game heroes like your Lich and your Tide Hunter, your Techies, whatever, you will need one of them probably later on. It's just a case of when do you switch over to trying to place that hero. And I think it could have potential for esports and being played slightly more competitively. But I think it's a case of kind of seeing how we go with it.
Before we move on with that, I must admit I've not really looked into too much, but just looking at the image here, very much reminds me of Club Penguin the Dome. I'll put that out and we can move along from there. And I love Jake's face there.
Very interesting note to finish it on.
Club Penguin is the real esport.
There, absolutely.
If I want on the goddamn Discord, I want a Club Penguin button, and I'm gonna click it, and I'm gonna be. I will carry Esports Wales to any Club Penguin goddamn championship.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on swiftly from Club Penguin, we're going to move on to a bit of news from within Esports Wales. You may have noticed that we've actually had some lovely new branding come out this past week. Andy, our designer who works for Gamers Apparel, he's our graphics manager, and he's done an absolutely amazing job for us. So alongside that new branding, I'm very happy and excited, as is everyone here, to announce that we are actually releasing our own merch live on stream now, going through a quick slideshow. So, personalized hoodies.
Should I make some background? I'll make some background music. Hang on.
Personalized
you keep going, mate. I'm committed.
Black and white men's shirts, female red tank top, mouse mats, zip up hoodies.
Oh yeah, go back to the. Can you go back to the mouse mat?
I can't go back. It's on. It's on an auto.
It'll loop. Keep going.
Black and white female t-shirts, tracksuit bottoms, Esports Wales flag, a personalised jersey, a baseball tee, a varsity jacket, polo shirt, and snapback hat. And there is the. That's everything, I think. Thank you for the background.
You finish selling the stuff. That's when the music stops.
So yeah, I know I for a fact will be spending a lot of money on that merch. But out of everything you've seen, what is your favourite piece of merch, and what are you most looking forward to actually like showing off around at events and stuff like that? Go on, John. Mouse mat. Yeah, go ahead.
This is it's a bit mad, but we was talking about it and it makes sense, right? So we was talking, and I think it was Ken that's give me the sort of idea from it, and I don't know why other ones don't do it. He said it should have been better at the bottom, but So when you're playing competitive games, especially with like Overwatch, CS:GO, things like that, your sensitivity should be the same on each one, or as close to it as you. Now, there's websites and stuff which do that already for you, but the calculations sometimes a bit off and like sometimes a bit tweaking and things like that. So what we've done is we put a like a measurement thing at the top, so you know as sort of when you put the mouse across, if you face a wall and sort of rotate round, you know exactly how far you need to go to get it to the 360. So you know then in every single game, it doesn't matter what sensitivity sort of set is sort of set as, you will be able to get exactly the same sort of sensitivity when moving around. So you mean you can jump from once you get that sort of set up and go like, oh well, it's sort of this part on my mouse mat or like 3 on the mouse mat. That's what I need to do. Once you get that, you can kind of just go right. Okay, 3 for Overwatch, 3 for CS:GO, to do a full rotation, and then you know then that every game is going to be the same, so you can jump into different games and not have the issue of going like, fuck it all. I normally my aim's well off, and the reason being is well off is because I've been playing a totally different game the last few days, and yeah, and then jump onto something else and realize I can't hit anything. But yeah,
And he's blaming this on the mouse mat. Remember, boys and girls.
yeah, that's the solution. You need a mouse mat. So if you can't hit anything, blame it on the mouse mat, and then you need to buy another one.
Buy our mouse mat.
Yeah.
Either
we
way,
do not. I mean, we're not saying that the product's going to do this for you, but it should be all right.
either way, I've
Well,
already.
you know,
If it's
other one,
awful,
mouse
I'm going
mats.
to say this now. If it's awful, blame John.
Yeah, you can blame me.
I'll just blame Alex. Either way, I've already purchased my jersey. What are you all looking forward to repping and showing off when we're going to actual events around it? Well, around Wales and having our own meetups. What is the piece of merch that you are really looking forward to wearing and just being proud of in general?
Alex, do you want to go first, mate?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, I've already ordered the jersey and the polo. The jersey's got to be a necessity, though, when it comes to anything to do with esports. Let's be honest. If you haven't got a jersey, you're really part of an esports org at this point. But obviously, I must admit, the jersey design is absolutely gorgeous. It just works so well. But obviously, when it comes to more formal stuff, with especially a lot of what I will be doing, the polo shirt's gonna be great. But definitely rocking that jersey, and I'm probably gonna end up picking up the proper hoodie in the next few months or next month or two anyway. So that looks so good. That is.
Rose, what about you?
Well, there's only one real correct answer here, Jake, isn't it? And that answer is all of it. Just buy all the
I
merch.
was waiting
And there's
for
multiple
that.
reasons. There's multiple shades plays. I can see you in the chat, and you were bang on with the money. There's multiple reasons for this. So first off, one, you're directly supporting a grassroots esports organization, okay? Which means that every time you wear your merch and you tweet us or something, we're probably going to retweet it. And two, it means that you actually get us off the ground and go in and doing stuff. And three, we've got a lot of really, really massive stuff, which we can't talk about now, and John will kill me for talking about any of it, so I won't. Coming up very shortly, which is going to be massive to get behind and support, and is going to be a massive thing for Welsh esports in general. So the correct answer is buy all of it. If I had to choose one thing, it would probably be the white jersey, just because I'm a big fanboy of white and red. My PC build is white and red. Well, it's actually black and red, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, all I can ask is people check it out, take a look, and if you're interested, get some stuff.
Just grab your wallet. Everyone, just go grab your wallet right now and just go to the website. The link's right there. Go do it now.
Go on, John. What are you looking forward to?
Well, yeah, I'm. It's pretty much as you said. Like I picked up a fair bit as it is. I know Shades. So you said Shades in the chat. So yeah, I've got you a flag, man. So yeah, we've got that sorted and a couple of other stuff. But yeah, I think the jersey looks awesome. I think Andy's done an awesome job. So I know he's not about now. He's getting married, but I think he's back tomorrow. So I think if you see Andy around chatting or stuff, and you like the stuff, yeah, let him know because yeah, he's done an awesome job.
He has done fantastic. And
He has. It's brilliant.
yeah, along with actually releasing a merch, what we've decided to do is that we're actually going to give away one of those lovely Esports Wales white jerseys. So, any one of you in chat or on Twitter or wherever you see this eventually, it's probably going to end up on YouTube. You can actually enter the competition, providing it hasn't closed, via this link that should be showing up in chat right now. Hopefully. There we go. So,
There you go.
Ooh.
if you use that link, go onto that webpage and you can actually enter that competition to win a custom Esports Wales jersey. So get yourself entering, do all of the things to get your extra little entries, and you could be winning a nice piece of Esports Wales merch. So, following that, we're actually going to talk a little bit about some of the teams that we've got within Esports Wales, or that we've recently. One of our game managers has actually held a trials night. Eclipse, our Rocket League game manager, he held a trials night probably about three weeks ago now, and from that we actually gained 3 Rocket League teams. Playing for Team Tan, we have Crossy, Ron Seal, and Tails. Playing for Team Yar, we have Macombe, Nobody, and also I can't even say this name. Does anybody want to try and say that? OG boy, Ogre boy.
That's
Sorry, man. Yeah.
Go by his Twitter name, GW. I can't even say that. GW John. Either way, yeah. And we also have a third team playing for Team Do. We have DKM4Y on Twitter as ZombieBoyDKM, Canoni Brothers, and also Marsha BC. So yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to hopefully seeing these guys playing in action, as is everyone on the Esports Wales staff and volunteers list.
I was speaking to Eclipse 2 or 3 nights ago, and we're looking to get them in some tournaments and see how they get on. For the other games, just to sort of give a idea of kind of what's happening, people in chat. So we've got what we're going to kind of do is kind of a similar sort of structure to this, kind of rolling that out. So there'll be a couple more games which will be sort of having trial nights and stuff. So if people do want to play, make sure you jump on Discord. Make sure you sort of let people know. But you'll see something pop up on Discord saying if you want to join it, or it might be on Twitter, and then I'll be sort of jumping into the teams, because we've had some teams, but we've been messaged pretty much by a lot of stuff for people wanting to join. And rather than sticking everyone into a team and then you having subs which can't play and things like that, it's a case of just we're going to sort of sort it out and try and if we can get some balanced teams and things and push forward with that. And Apex we'll have a look as well, Tipna.
Yeah, there is a link in chat if you do want to apply. That is our official application form. That will be getting checked every so often to see if there are any new players that could fit into one of the teams we already have, and I'm sure all of our game managers and our esports manager will be working closely together to get that ball rolling. And because we're partnered with Special Effect, we've decided that we're going to take part in a charity event for them. They're hosting a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds tournament on the 26th of this month. It does clash with a few other events that are going on. I'm not sure whether we can talk about one of them just yet because details aren't exactly confirmed. But there is also a Belong Crash Team Racing event on that day, if I'm correct, John?
Yeah, so that's going on in Belong. So I think sign-ups are already out. But if you haven't had the sign-up form, I'm sure we can drop a message in general on Discord, and we'll get one of the Belong staff to drop you a message with the details of how you can sign up. But yeah, that looks like a great thing, and hopefully, if we are doing a meet in Cardiff, it'd be it's only a stone throws away from there. So if you are down there for the crash racing, then you can easily pop along and see us on the same day.
Yeah, so as I was talking about, we are entering the Special Effect PUBG tournament. It is named Chicken for Charity. It's basically what they've done it last year, and what they do is they organise different teams from within the gaming industry, and they get them all to compete against each other. And we do actually have a Just Giving page set up currently, and we do want. Well, we're aiming to raise over £200. All the funds go to Special Effect, who is our first charity partner. So it's a cause I think sits close to a lot of us, and I've broken the cameras. Whoopsie daisies. There we go. They're fixed. Good thing I'm paying attention, right? But yeah, if you can spare £5, I know we've just announced merch, but if you can spare £5, we'd be more than grateful to, as would Special Effect. And make sure to stop by on the 26th to see us participate in that. Myself and Alex will be on the team, and also Welsh Boone, and we're waiting on the last spot to be confirmed. So yeah, another big thing that's coming out. Well, not a big thing that's coming out, but we will be attending Insomnia 65. We have a couple, a big thing really. It's going to be a great event, a lot of fun going to be had. A couple of people are attending, myself and John included. Alex might be. I'll be attending. I know our YouTube manager will be attending. He's going to be volunteering alongside me. And we will be in BYOC, the Bring Your Own Computer section. So, oh yeah, Shays Plays, who is in chat, is also attending. And he will. We're all going to be sat hopefully somewhat close together. We're going to be sat in row M on the seat picker. So if you do want to join us, make sure you do get involved. Message one of us to hopefully get one of those seats confirmed for yourselves. And I think that's everything coming out from Esports Wales, unless John's got extra.
Yeah, sorry. Before that, it's sold out now. So unfortunately, if you haven't got a ticket, then you won't be able to get it. But I'm also going to the Skynet Wales LAN. Probably most of you don't really know what that is, but if you do know, it's a LAN in Brecon, which takes place sort of once or twice a year. It's a great venue, and if you haven't done any sort of, it is BYOC. So it's about 100 computers, 120 computers, something like that. If you haven't done a LAN before, it's a great starter LAN. It's everyone's friendly. The guys have been doing it, or sort of going for, most of the guys have been going for about 10 years. I know a lot of them very well. They're a great laugh. So on Friday you have a sort of a bit of a quiz, and then you game for like 2 days, and then sort of on the way home on Sunday. They run a couple of tournaments like Rocket League. I think Ron Seal's going down, so hopefully we can get a little Esports Wales team going there and see how we get on. But yeah, it's if you haven't checked them out, it's definitely good to check out the guys at Skynet Wales. And then hopefully you can catch the next LAN when that comes about.
When is that actually taking place, John? Is that the end of this
19th.
month? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 19th, 21st.
So, moving on from Moobot, what are you doing? Grace, what did you just try doing?
I tried to post the Skynet Wales link. I was like, you know what? I'm going to help out our valued listeners, give them some more details, and Moobot's over here.
There you go. There you go. You can do it now.
Oh, am I a mod now?
You're permitted. I'll mod you later.
Woo!
John's done it either way.
Yeah, boys.
Okay, moving on from the news from within Esports Wales, we're going to talk about some Welsh esports players. John, from what I know, you actually know Tadpole quite well, and you've spent a lot of time with him and getting to know him as he's grown to be what he is. So I'd like you to just give a quick rundown on Tadpole in general, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Tadpole probably want me to say he's super toxic. But yeah, I've known Tadpole for I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, so he joined the last community which I run, and yeah, he's come to like Insomnia a few times and things like that with us, and sort of we played some sort of community events and things like that together. Yeah, he's quite good at Rocket League, as some of you guys might have noticed. Yeah, so he's with Triple Trouble, so Base is a manager, and Tadpole, they went to New Jersey not so long ago. Yeah, unfortunately they get knocked out, but I think they, to be fair, they done Wales quite proud. Like, to get that far and see sort of how far they've come in the last few years is amazing, and yeah, I think sort of watch this space with them, because they'll keep on going and sort of keep on moving forward with it. I think they finished in the sort of 5th to 8th bracket or tier, which resulted in them taking home something like 40K overall. And yeah, so sort of doing that. I know they were playing this week as well, and they got knocked out unfortunately. But yeah, as I said, they'll keep on going, they'll keep on building, and yeah, I think you'll see some big things coming from them and Triple Trouble in the future.
Yeah, like I don't really keep up with the Rocket League esports scene too much, but I did drop in to watch them in the RLCS Season 7 finals, and
Yeah.
I was actually travelling home from seeing a friend, so I was on the train whilst I was watching this, and every goal they scored, I was just reacting to, and I must have had some weird looks around me.
Yeah, I think Rocket League is one of those games which is just, it is awesome to watch as well. You could kind of really get into it, and yeah, you could just pick it up as well with Rocket League. It's and yeah, it's good to support the boys and yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they get on.
Now, this might be a bit of an interesting question. Obviously, everyone's got their favourite esports to watch, and I'd like to delve into the minds of what yours is and the reasoning behind it. Like, I myself, I've loved CS:GO since I started watching it about 4 years ago, and that's CS:GO is the whole reason I got fell madly in love with esports, and I still watch it. I watch it with a passion to this day, and just. So, John, I know you don't watch too much esports, but what
Yeah.
if you had to choose one to watch, what would you choose?
I think I can kind of watch most of them. That's kind of where I fit. Like, there's for me, there isn't really just one which sort of stands out. Like for you, say CS:GO, I played like 1.6 like for years. That was my sort of first like proper esports game where I was playing in clans, and sort of we was playing back then. It was Enemy Down, Premiership, and things like that. Playing in teams, and then they ruined it with Source, and WoW come out, which also ruined it. But yeah, when sort of those come out, I moved on then to I played a bit of StarCraft, so I like the RTS games, and I sort of I played that for a fair bit. Used to watch Day9 casting and watching those games. I moved on from StarCraft, and the guys at EsportsWales got me into playing League with 5v5, and used to watch Worlds and play in League. And I played, as I said, I got like 3,000 hours in League playing that. And then going from there, recently I just switched over to Overwatch, and then understanding the game from Overwatch. So I guess unfortunately Crazy is the only one I probably don't watch is Dota. But I'm still trying to push Dota. Yeah, I'm still trying to push Dota the best I can. Like as I said, most of the stuff I'm kind of the same in sport. Like I'll watch anything, as long as I understand the rules and sort of I know what's going on. Then sort of get behind the team and enjoy it.
You forgot Club Penguin. Like to throw that out there.
Oh
You
yeah,
also forgot
absolutely
Club
can't
Penguin
forget
esports.
that.
Yeah, I've missed Club Penguin. I don't know. I might have been all out of that scene when it started. But maybe that's my next esports game.
It's a shame it's gone down now. It's only on mobile.
Right. Well,
There you go. But must admit, unlike John Wick, who can just watch anything, I can't watch anything. I really can't get into the mobile scene at all. Really, I struggle to try
I think
concentrate on it. It's just too much going on, in my opinion.
I think that's the problem with some of the mobile games is that you kind of like where Rocket League, you can kind of just anyone can just say right,
Yeah.
you score here, you score here. That's it. With MOBA, there's so much sort of it's comps, it's the items they've got, it's what levels they are, and you watching them move, and then it's like you're looking it down to like the sort of micro between sort of killing the minions around and sort of whether they've got a minion wave to push on and things like that. And there's so much depth you're looking into it. And if you don't understand that game, you don't really see that depth. It's just kind of two characters just running around. But the more you play it, the more sort of it builds up. You're watching it then as different level.
But I must admit, I've come from a very FPS based background. From what really got me into esports was Call of Duty back in the day, Black Ops 2 days, which is when I started getting more into esports. I remember watching like COD XP, watching all the events going live, watching teams like FaZe and Optic grow from the ground up and get to where they are now. But more recently, I've started getting into a lot more CS:GO recently. Like whilst I've been playing a lot more comp and all that, been getting into more of the gaming scene around CS:GO because
Yeah, I think CS:GO is quite a bit like Rocket League as well. It's quite sort
yeah,
of from a spectator point of view.
That's what I
It's
was gonna
quite
say.
easy to see.
yeah, it's
It's
quite easy to watch.
5v5. Yeah, you know the choke points, and you can kind of see where it's moving around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do enjoy watching CS:GO.
Yeah. I would say, just to feed in a little bit, that I personally kind of sit somewhere quite heavily in the middle, which is maybe, perfect for a podcast. So I wouldn't say I watch everything. So stuff like League, obviously, it's not like I won't watch it. Like, I've watched Worlds and stuff before, but like for me, because I don't have the League knowledge, I can't get into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas stuff like, obviously, with Dota, I have a massive amount of knowledge with Dota. Stuff like CS:GO, Rocket League, even Call of Duty to an extent, it's relatively easy to watch because you know what's happening. But I would say that nowadays, even like Call of Duty is starting to get to that kind of lower end for me, where it's like there is too much stuff going on. there's jetpacks, there's people jumping all over the place, and for me, like, I suppose it's kind of like I used to play the game a lot, so I kind of know what's happening a bit, but less and less so nowadays. Obviously, Dota is always going to be my homeboy. Shout out to the international, but nice casual. What is it, like 100 million prize pool or something now?
Oh, it's something ridiculous
Yeah.
like that. It's absolutely humongous.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking at seeing if I can head up to Birmingham next year to watch the ESL.
Mate, you have ESL, mate, is such a laugh, right? I have never been to an event that I have enjoyed more in my life. So here's a little story. So I know one of the guys that works backstage called Declan. Declan, if you're watching, shout out to you, mate. And basically, he works backstage and doing all the talent management. And I've known him since like university, so we're talking like 4 or 5 years. And he was like, at one point, he was like, "You want to just like go backstage and meet everyone?" So these people that I not grew up, but I spent years and years watching and developing my casting style and learning from them, I went and got to meet them, and it was so weird. there's nothing weirder that I've experienced in my life, but like it's just ESL 1 Birmingham. If you ever want to go to an esports event, go to that one. You can do stuff like win a 900 quid phone, which I did. Shout out to Vodafone Gaming, and stuff like that. It's insane. It really is.
Yeah, ESL hosts quite a lot of major events, especially around Europe. Obviously, at the moment, is it still going on? ESL 1 Cologne?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
still
still
going
going
on.
on. Obviously, Jake's going to delve into a little bit more about that. But another game that not really people was quite actually big in most of the American scene, which I used to watch quite a bit, was Gears of War esports. If anyone's ever seen that,
Yeah,
I don't know why, it's probably one of the most satisfying esports I could ever watch. Especially when you get some really good players. But then again, I've had a history of Gears of War esports myself, so I've obviously got into that scene quite a bit. Very Mexican though, I must admit. I've seen my past teams of mine trending in Mexico City quite a lot when it comes to Gears, but definitely more of a scene that's based over in America rather here. But I still have it somewhere wherever my heart is. Somewhere it's still a bit in my heart.
Okay, so yeah, quickly moving on from that, because we spent a while on that somehow. wasn't expecting that to last that long.
Working our own egos, mate. That's all it was.
Alex, if you just want to just have a quick little chat about the Belong Arena Clash that one of our own members is actually taking part of, and that's one of the reasons I've included it.
Yes, absolutely. So obviously what's going on at the moment, if you don't know what Belong is, Belong Arenas, it's a load of gaming arenas based out of a lot of game stores around the country. In Wales, we have obviously one in Cardiff. I'm wearing the jersey of the Cardiff Saints. So based out of the St. David Centre there. And obviously they completing tournaments against other arenas. So currently one of our members, Shades Plays, who I think is lurking in the chat. I saw him typing before.
He was here earlier.
Yeah, he's taking part. Well, he's on the Cardiff Saints Overwatch Champions team, which is basically the top team that goes on at the moment in the Arena Clash teams. This because they got different stages. I know Champions, got the Challenges. I think isn't there another few stages as well?
Yeah, there's
Underground as well.
Underground, yeah. You get 2 underground teams.
So obviously, Champions is the main team, and they obviously probably the best one. Well, I don't know how it's worded. I know it's like a trials night they have kind of night, and they classify them that way. But obviously, he's done very well to get onto the team. And currently, the Cardiff Saints are actually third in the Arena Clash like rankings they have against all the other ones, stuff such as like Blong, Manchester, Bristol, Kingston, all over the country, including places like Northern Ireland as well. Obviously, we've spoken to Shades about this, and Shades has told us that being a part of the Cardiff Saints has been a goal of mine for the past 3 seasons of Arena Clash, and to be able to take part in this community has been a blast so far. Everyone is so welcoming and friendly. You get a sense of a competitive environment whilst also having fun and being relaxed at the same time. So even if you aren't good at games, or if you are the best, make sure you head down to your local Blong arena to check out what they have in store for you.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like from my point of view anyway, I've seen like the stuff Blong have been doing. I've been down a couple of times, and yeah, the way they've got it set up, I think is great. It's like you're having that where you get in the sort of you're allowing people to come in, sort of sit down, play games, casual games, you go gaming, and then having this where you can sort of play as a sort of different levels where you've got the sort of tier groups. I think that's a great way of sort of building players up. Like if they come in into the underground team, and then sort of play for a sort of a season under that team the next season, because one of the things with esports games is you can change your rank so quick. But if you get someone who's dedicated and put those hours in like a couple of weeks of learning, watching YouTube videos, learning how you play, you're tweaking your setup and things like that, and just trying to sort of improve. You can see sort of ranks fly up. And then sort of you're moving on from a season to the next season. They could be moving into a new team and then sort of straight up into the sort of top team after a few seasons. And yeah, I think it's what they do in their game is great. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a few more of those in Wales.
Yeah, I do hope we see some more actual Blong arenas expand. And just to touch on that a little bit, Game have actually been bought out by the owner of Sports Direct, Mike Ashley, and he was the one who actually started pushing for these gaming arenas to be put in the game stores. So that for them could be seen as a positive because it means he's got more of a say as to what goes on within the company, and actually could result in more gaming arenas popping up around the country to save game stores because they've been struggling a lot with the money recently. So, and the gaming arenas have really pumped some money back into the actual company. So hopefully Mike Ashley will expand on the gaming arenas that currently exist.
I know he's looking at well, one or two. I know they've done something with where they've got the Belong sort of stores are in the Sports Direct store rather than a game store.
Yeah,
I've heard about all that now.
Which, yeah, I don't know. Like, I understand like how it could be. Like, I understand sort of you can go in, you can get your sort of Welsh top if you wanted to, your Welsh rugby top, or you could your sort of your local Belong store top in the same sort of Sports Direct. I can see how that could work, but there's also a sort of I think a split between esports and general sport, and I don't know if he sees it being merged. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he does it. It's and sort of the way he takes it forward. But yeah, the more gaming, the more stores is it's only better for esports in Wales, really.
It makes complete sense to me that he's like, you know what, I'm going to set it up. You can go in, buy your tennis racket, and then play 17 games of StarCraft 2 because obviously you're going to have very sharing interests with the two.
Yeah.
And it all completely makes sense. I think the kind of the angle they're trying to come from a little bit is that the Sports Direct stores are normally massive. They normally hold a lot of real estate, which means they have a lot to sacrifice as well, because heaven knows there's a lot of stuff in there that never gets bought. So if they just kind of like prioritize themselves a little bit, maybe they could free up a little bit of space. I see what you mean in regards to the interests are quite different. But I think as far as kind of getting quote unquote video games more into the mainstream, maybe even improving the general stereotype of esports players, because I think there's a massive trend around the assumptions of what esports players are like. It could have a really positive impact for us and globally. There you go. That's a nice open note to finish on.
Yeah. So moving on from the sort of news from Welsh esports players, we're going to move on to a bit of the global scene. So going on this past weekend, we've had this weekend currently, actually, should I say? We've got CSGO ESL One Cologne happening right now, and there's something I want to talk about because the British CSGO scene hasn't really ever got off the ground. There's been a few players here or there that have been okay, but currently there's a team in the final known as Team Vitality, who are primarily a French team. But their actual captain, his name is Alex, and he is British, and he is one of the first ever British players to make it onto the final stage at a event like this. And yesterday they actually took on the former world number ones known as Astralis, who anyone who plays or watches CS:GO knows who they are. They took the Intel Grand Slam last year, which is winning 4 of the Intel big events, and they were very much an unstoppable force for a very long time. But Alex has absolutely reinvigorated the team of Vitality. He's come in with a fresh mindset that French CS didn't really have. So to see a British player on a stage like that is huge. It's very rare that you see British players on stages like that. If I'm wrong, correct me. But to my knowledge, I only know a few huge players that actually make it onto big finals, so to say.
Yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think it's down to like just the grassroots. I don't think the grassroots are here really it's in the UK yet. Like we're trying to push it here in Wales. You've got a couple of people or a couple of organisations trying to do the same in the UK. But yeah, you just across sort of Korea and stuff like that. It's a different culture. It's a different way of doing things. And because of that, they've got the grassroots there. They've got places where you get coaches and things and sort of pushing it. And until we sort of get that year, we're not going to be seeing that many sort of top players in these tournaments. Hopefully that'll change, and I think when it does change, it'll change quite quickly. In sort of like a sort of 5-year period, and you'll see a switch. But yeah, I think we got a couple of years yet to see that happening. Hopefully, some of the work we're doing here will pay off. And
obviously, going back a few months, obviously, the Welsh government had a debate on esports in Wales, and that obviously came pretty much overwhelmingly positive results from that, and it was pretty much all voted in favour, apart from 2 people that did other votes. But obviously, hopefully, what we're doing here, EsportsWales, will push that, will hopefully help out with whatever government efforts they may put in to try and promote esports in Wales. But it's such an exciting time. The next few years will be very interesting to watch for the British esports scene in general, as well as the Welsh esports scene. So it'll be great to see how it goes on in the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not many British people in any esport at all. So a really similar situation is there's for the first time ever, a British Dota player has actually reached the closed qualifiers for TI, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's insane. I think it's Symmetry or something like that. I don't know his name, to be honest with you, but like, I think it comes down to this kind of grassroots and this kind of kind of ideology we have. Like, I think as British people generally, we have this kind of lock-in ideology of we need security and we have to play things safe and we have to make sure we have a stern, confident future. And esports, frankly, is not that right now. It's risky and you have to be on top of your game and you have to break yourself, like, I don't know, like professional wrestling, for the sake of argument. Like, it's another very difficult area to get into. But hopefully, with a little bit more support and a little bit more confidence and stuff, like more tournaments in the UK and more support generally, we should hopefully be able to change things. And that's why we're here, to hopefully get more people into esports and more people to be generally better at esports.
Yeah, like I could easily compare the British grassroots scene to the one of North American teams, because I recently, in June, I went down to London to watch CSGO final, LCS Season 7, I think it was, and there was a team there called Complexity who are from North America, And they had a 15-year-old playing on their team who was playing on a stage at a final, and it just shows the difference in culture almost between North America and the UK. They actually push for it. They allow for it. This kid's 15. He's not even out of school, and he's traveling to the UK and playing in final events. It's mad to think that it actually happens. Has Discord died, or is just nobody? Okay, nope, it's still there.
No one's talking. You good?
No, you're good.
But yeah, it shows how much of a massive cultural difference there is between the two countries, and I think that's one of the things that we'd possibly like to change about Wales, especially. We want to change the culture around esports and make it more of I don't know how to word it.
Yeah, I think it's got negative stereotypes, and it's sort of changing that. It's sort of seeing it sort of as a part that we're setting up like teams. It's getting people playing together. It's getting a community. And it's people who sort of at the moment there are people still playing computer games, but it's just they're not having a sort of a local team. They're not having that community. They're based around their sort of around the country, and that's kind of what we're doing in Wales. Yeah, it's sort of it just changes that sort of thing of going, as you said, if you're playing with someone who plays in North America, okay, that might be unlikely because of your observers, but it could happen. It's a bit different to if you were sort of having a game and you were playing with someone who, yeah, like you guys sort of have met you guys now who's come down to sort of Cardiff and one of the meetups and that type of stuff. So you don't get that from sort of community which is based or sort of a team which is based all over the world. It's great to see, but you just don't get it. And this is what we're doing with the one in Wales, and I think that's what Belong are doing quite well. And it's bringing people together with sort of a passion for esports and sort of moving forward with that, so we can sort of grow that scene.
Yeah, and also we've got stuff like British esports that are promoting it more on a college level as well, but obviously their own leagues, and you got Digital Schoolhouse doing a lot of effort in England at the moment, trying to get something like that in Wales, where you can get esports clubs in schools to get people in just in your local community, especially school community, which is obviously quite an influential part on a lot of young people's basically growing up into an adult, get them all in like a community that's similar together, try and promote them that way, and it also helps when it comes to when you're a bit older and going to university. We've obviously got stuff like NEWL, NSC, where a lot of students will be taking part in. We have a lot of people that are actually in our community that take part, and we've got actually some of our staff members that take part in the university scene with NEWL and NSC. So trying to get it in a younger age is definitely going to help, just in general, with trying to grow esports as well.
And finishing on that that point about NEWL and NSE is actually great because we actually have some more British players attending ESL One Cologne. Not in the traditional form of performing, but Swansea Storm CSGO team actually took first place in the NEWL Grand Finals, and they were awarded VIP tickets and an all-expenses-paid trip to the event. So I can only imagine how much of a great time they are having right there. I am so jealous of that.
Yeah. I've seen some pictures on Twitter from that, and they look like they're having the time of their life. Because I'm very much jealous of that. Because I was on the verge of going over there myself, but didn't come.
I think it's been estimated that prize was worth over £3,000. So that is absolutely huge for Swansea Storm CSGO team to come first in the NEWL Grand Finals and everything like that. So
it just shows like for next season now, sort of what like the unis and stuff should be playing for. So hopefully we can get, like, I know Swansea Storm is probably the biggest one in Wales. But hopefully we can get Cardiff Giants and the other teams, sort of the other uni teams, and get those sort of playing for the same thing. So it'd be great to see sort of more Welsh teams sort of winning those opportunities and sort of doing that.
Yeah, so in regards to other big events we do actually have coming up, I know Craze will know about this, but we do have the huge Dota 2 International 10 event coming up next month. I don't know whether the date's been confirmed on that yet. When I did my research, it hadn't been confirmed yet, so keep your eye out for that.
I think the dates have been confirmed because they released the tickets for them, but it's in China, and a lot of people, Classic Reddit was complaining a lot about they couldn't book stuff far enough in advance. Because Reddit. But we're basically going into the open qualifiers are still running. We might be going into the closed qualifiers, which is when you start to see the really interesting trends from the meta come out. So I'd recommend keeping an eye out. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the dates for it, I think it was it's the 20th to the 25th of August this year. It's
Yeah, sounds about
somewhere in
right.
China. But I think currently the prize pool is way over $25 million for this one event, and it's an invitation-only event. So that's going to be quite a lot of money going to any team that takes part, even if they come last or they come first. It's going to be quite a lot of money going towards any team that are
Yeah.
fortunate enough.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting how it works. So basically, throughout the year, we have majors, we have minors, and we have majors, and you can get Dota Pro Circuit points for the minors and the majors, right? So we, you get so many points, and then the top 8 teams at the end of the year get invited, and so many teams play in a closed qualifier for the last few places actually at TI. And then there's an open qualifier to go into the closed qualifier to go into the TI. So it gets quite mad, but it's at 26 million 0.3 if you want to be pedantic, which is stupid amounts of money. TI is the reason why you see a lot of the kind of professional quote unquote Dota winners of TI being the top of earnings of a lot of sports, let alone esports.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's because it's the big prize pool for Dota, isn't it? It's not like CSGO where there's like 10 to 20 different big events across the year. Like, for instance, CSL Cologne has a prize pool of 300,000 and the winners take home, I think it's 125,000. So compare that to the 25.3 million that Dota, or 26.3, it's a massive difference.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. So you have the majors throughout the year, but they just the prize pool isn't the same, and they're not community supported. They used to be, but they're not anymore. So you used to get a battle pass and basically a bunch of stuff for each major, but they took that away. So they made the prize pool smaller. But there's quite a few of them, and there's a lot of other tournaments that aren't majors or minors as well. So like the Summit, I'm trying to think of other ones. So ESL Pro League. You've got Mars, Dota 2 League. There's a lot of different stuff in there for people to make an income. But I think it's just with TI, it's kind of like it's the rallying cry. You know what I mean? It's like here's for supporting this game that I've been behind for 7 years. I want it to exist further. Here's £100 for the amount of hours that I played it this year. It doesn't matter to me. And it's worth the funding, you know what I mean? So that's the kind of situation. I'm unfortunately one of those whales that's put far too much money into this game now. I can't quit now. There's no way out.
I think we all have that game though. Everyone has that game where they just throw money at non-stop. Yeah. So there is also the Call of Duty World Championships. I'm not really big into COD. I don't know whether Alex has been recently, but I know he used to watch it.
Not so much at the moment. It's since I was really into it in the Infinite Warfare scene, but not so much since then. World War II ruined it.
Yeah, well, I've loved the COD games and I love them, but it's just sort of you've had the hit and miss, and like Chris, you said earlier, with if your mates don't pick it up, it's kind of just sort of goes. I like it's the same with the COD. Some of them I've picked up, and you just haven't had the player base there, or sort of the mates haven't picked it up, so you've just sort of it's dropped and gone and things. So yeah, I haven't really followed the scene this year with that, but yeah, I think the Modern Warfare, the one coming up this year, that might change things. I think you might see a few more sort of people wanting to go back to the old sort of Modern Warfare 2 days and picking that up, and might get a hype around it.
Yeah. So on the back end of that discussion, are there any events that you guys are particularly looking forward to? Obviously, Praise, you're going to be looking forward to the Dota International.
Yes,
that's without
the League
fail.
of Legends World Championships.
Oh, you're actually looking forward to that as well. Okay, interesting.
I mean, no, I was taking the mic, but they always are. They always are good. No, they're good every year. Any major event, I'm always there for supporting, even if it means putting my own ego to the side.
So, what about you, John? Is there any big events? Not necessarily esports, say tournaments, but in general, any big events that you're looking forward to?
Well, I think I'll probably follow Worlds a bit. As the sort of if you sort of with the Six Nations for rugby and stuff like that, that's my sort of the one I'd probably go to.
Yeah.
And sort of catch up. That's where I sort of catch up. I've been watching sort of following a bit of sort of London Spitfire and watching some Overwatch. But I think that's quite hard for someone to watch if they don't play Overwatch or don't play a lot of Overwatch. But yeah, some of that. And then just generally whatever I pick up really. It depends on the sort of what I'm up to and sort of what's on. And then I just tend to sort of watch what's about really or what I can get around. How about you guys? What's yours?
So, to be fair, apart from general esports events, like Call of Duty, I probably end up watching that because it's me. Outside of esports, we've got stuff that's happening this year. We've got the Rugby World Cup in Japan this year, later on this year. I'm going to definitely be watching because I remember going to the 2015 Rugby World Cup. I saw Wales v Fiji and New Zealand v Georgia, and I'll be in Welsh. I absolutely love rugby, and
Yeah,
I'm really
I'm
watching
definitely up for the Rugby World Cup.
that. Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
I can't remember the last time I missed a rugby international game.
Yeah.
I don't miss many of them. But yeah, even in the airport back from skiing, I ended up sort of finding a TV in the airport and getting the game on, and some French people look at me a bit strange.
Yeah.
But,
But there's
yeah,
another
it's-
event that's coming up that everyone here is going to love, and that's Insomnia.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
mention
Yeah, yeah,
Insomnia.
yeah.
It's going to be.
If you don't mention Insomnia when it comes to upcoming events, are you really into gaming at this point if you're in the UK, especially within this community, in our community, because it's such a huge part, it's such a huge event for us, because a lot of our meetups happen. That's why we probably have, most of our community members actually, who are the active ones, always end up going to it. It's only in Birmingham. If you haven't got your tickets, I'm pretty sure the tickets are still available.
Yep, they still
And
are.
I know Jake's going to go ranting and raving on about how you guys should volunteer as well. So
No, I'm
probably
done with that
pass it along.
now. We've got enough of
Are you
that.
done with that?
Yeah.
You got
Pro
enough
team.
now? Okay. But I think there's still some teams that are looking for volunteers. So I'm assuming Jake probably get a link for that. He probably has one on Hype. He probably has one on Binded or something. At
I
this
don't
point.
actually know. But tickets for Insomnia, I think, is £100 for BY. Well, I think it's a bit more than £100 now. I think it's like 110 maybe for BYOC.
Yeah, it depends if you got an early bird
But
and stuff like that.
Early
yeah.
birds
But,
close now, so
Yeah, but I think if you just go for like a day or something, it's only like 25 quid or something.
£25.
About 20. Yeah, so it's not too expensive, especially if you just want to go for the day. Because obviously, once we're there, we're going to end up doing meetups. You're all going to meet up with us if you were to attend. So, no, Jake and John will definitely confirm Shater's going. I'm still not 100% at the moment. I'm still need to wait for some information for me to come out before I know. But it's going to be probably the biggest event for us this year so far. Especially when there's going to be most of the community, especially like the management side and the staff wide side. A lot of them are going to be attending.
Yeah,
We
so
got
oh, go ahead, John,
Skynet
sorry.
as well. Just to sort of reiterate that one. I'm looking forward to that which is this month. But yeah, again, that's sort
There's a
of
few of you
chill
going
top.
there, isn't there? To my knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
I think there's probably about I don't know about.
I think it's about 6 or 7 if you
6 or 7 from EsportsWales. Might be going. Like it's only 100-man land.
Yeah, it's a decent amount, like.
But yeah, it's a fair few, and as I said, it's a good crack. So that'll be this month, and then next month, yeah, the big one is in some. And then going on from that, we've got a few other things planned, but yeah, nothing set in stone yet. So they'll come out in later episodes.
In due time.
Yeah, it'll be good to get a DreamHack team at some point as well to go over to Scandinavia and try and get some people going to DreamHack. That'd be quite an interesting event.
Yeah.
That's all for the
Definitely.
future, though. So I think we're going to be wrapping up the stream now with the Q&A session that we had. We did have a couple of questions come in, not too many. But the first one that we had in was Esports Luke, or previously known as Furious Luke, and he's asking, I think this is going to be a bit of a question for John, but even though we all know what the answer is, are we going to see any Esports Wales teams enter the competitive scene and compete in tournaments, etc.?
Yes.
Done. End of question.
Yep. Yeah.
Moving on.
There's going to be multiple ones and multiple different ones, and there'll be other teams which will be created which you can follow. So we've gonna so the kind of structure is we'll have sort of our teams, and then probably off that we'll have a national team, which will be the Welsh-based one. I'm currently speaking to a couple of people about sorting that out. Also, we've got a few things then of sort of getting some other tournaments, sort of that building up. At the moment, our main focus is sort of building a few teams up, getting those players sort of happy, getting them scrimming, and then they'll be entering. Like we've already entered the All Heroes Cup in Overwatch for 2 seasons. We've got a couple coming up in Rocket League, which is quite good. With League of Legends, there was 1 or 2 mentioned which they'll be playing in as well. And yeah, we're just going to sort of, what we're trying to do is make sure we get like the right teams in the right sort of tournaments, and making sure sort of that's the way which those teams sort of improve, and they've got a way that those teams and players can improve from there, and sort of I don't know, a road which they can follow. So you can come into hopefully you can come into the community sort of not knowing anything about esports or not playing any games, pick up a game, pick up the sort of what you want to play or whatever interests you, and sort of move on from someone who's sort of little knowledge of esports into a player, into a sort of an amateur team, and then into like a professional team as such. Then we've got that sort of we've worked out the strategy and know sort of how we plan on doing it. And now we're just in the process of doing that. And there might be a COD team as well, Luke. I just seen you post that. But we kind of we're kind of sort of looking at what the interest is. I don't think it'll be a Black Ops team. I can see you said Black Ops. It might be a Modern Warfare 2 because I think the hype is going to be around that. We've been looking at FIFA and been looking at some other games and other stuff like that. And it's a case of we don't want to just sort of create a team and then you haven't got anywhere to go or nothing really happens. We want to make sure it's kind of you've got that step. So if you have the team, then you're going to be playing that team in a tournament, and then sort of, or you be playing in scrims, or you be playing against sort of some other sort of Welsh team and moving forward through there. So yeah, short answer, yes. Long answer,
all
I can
that.
just keep on going. Yeah.
Yeah, so the other question that we got was from Real Lala, and he wants to know what everyone's main game is. So, for me, it's a mixture between like 2 or 3. Rocket League, I play so much. I could easily spend all day playing that if I want to. But then I love playing CSGO. I've played that for so long that it's just, I've got too many hours on that I don't want to add up, and I've spent too much money on that I don't want to know about. And I play guitar as well, so I spend a lot of time playing Rocksmith and improving on stuff like that. And those are my 3 main games. John, how about you?
I don't know. I tend to play what like sort of what people fancy. What's the I kind of move about. So I like League. I like playing. I'm playing TFT at the moment. I was enjoying Dauntless. I know it's not an esports game, but I've been enjoying and playing that. It's quite chilled. I enjoy playing Rocket League, Overwatch, CS:GO. I kind of played for, and then realized because I haven't played this since sort of Source, that I ended up just getting smashed. I was like, okay. Or running around. They changed the maps. They used to be Adobe here. And then I'm looking around, going like, "Wait, how do I get around there now?" But yeah, it's I've been sort of playing those. We were playing Factorial, and playing sort of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I tend to play like a sort of a mixture of games. I wouldn't say there's one focus. It used to be League, and it was League for years. I would say the last like year and a half has been Overwatch. But yeah, let's see what they do sort of and see what comes out. Like you could, like I played Apex a fair bit. I haven't jumped on with the season 2 yet, but it depends what sort of people play and what takes my fancy really. Yeah. How about you, Alex?
To be fair, I don't really have one particular game. At the moment, I've not been playing particularly that much. I've been focused on doing other stuff at the moment. But I've been trying to fit a bit more CS going at the moment. Been more trying to get that playing. I've been into like a lot of community like custom games for a while for CS:GO, like Surf and B-Hop. Been into that for ages, but I've been trying to get more into competitive recently. But other than that, a lot of my areas on like VR, so if I have a VR headset, I've been doing a lot of like games. Well, I played a lot of VR chat, got hundreds of hours on that. But
Well-
also games like Beat Saber and other like story games on that. What are you gonna say, John?
No, well, I have been doing VR lately. I haven't got a
Oh,
VR headset, but I actually pick one up. Or work's coming up, and been doing a lot of stuff with that. And yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I got on with it, to be honest. I don't think it's there yet, but I think we can sort of. I think there's big things coming from VR now in the next few years. Especially I was doing the dev stuff as well, so it's sort of creating sort of models and things, and then putting into VR, and then being able to pick them up and like throw them about, and sort of creating rooms, which was quite cool. But I definitely think a couple of years that's going to be an interesting new sort of genre of game.
Could be a good discussion for the next week of Esports Wales Weekly. Not going to get into it now because I will absolutely trigger Mulger and Curio with anything I say. So,
Graves, what about you to finish it all off?
Club Penguin Esports. It's the only thing I've played since it was released. No, so the obvious answer is Dota, obviously, right? So I was actually going to bring up and see how many hours of Dota I've played or casted or been in, and it's probably something like 5,000 or something ludicrous. I used to play some RuneScape, right? So back in the day, I had 3 years of game time in RuneScape before I started playing Call of Duty, really. So that's 3 years of game time being in the actual game doing stuff. I played a lot of Call of Duty. I used to anyway. Nowadays, it tends to be a lot of Dota 2. I played some CS back in the day. Smash Brothers. We've not mentioned Smash Brothers at all.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
I play a fair bit of Smash Bros. I used to play Melee a lot. Go on, mate.
Sorry, just to cut you off, but the Smash Bros stuff. There is going to be a big event. Sort of saying about that in Cardiff City Stadium on I think it's the 10th of August. If you see, we're going to check some stuff out. I'm just waiting for the materials to come through to us, sort of, so we can throw it out. But yeah, check it out. I think it's like going to be 125 people in the event, and it's done in the stadium. And I think there's a decent prize pool and things like that. So yeah, if you are in sort of looking to smash, then yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah. So I used to play Melee quite a lot. I went to an event called Snowspire back in the day. That's an old throwback for anyone that is my age, which makes me sound really old. I'm only 24, but there you go. I feel so old saying that. Which I won a tournament in back in the day. But yeah, tends to be a lot of Dota for me nowadays. Used to play some Overwatch as well, but that kind of took a backseat when my internet connection decided to die. So yeah, there we go. But the important thing is that everyone at home enjoys whatever they play and shares it with us at Esports Wales, etc.
Exactly. So I think that's going to be a good wrapping up point. So just to go back quickly, what we have announced. Merch, don't forget we have a great new merch store and we do have a giveaway going on alongside of that. Link should be in chat. Multiple commands being used there all at once. That's what you call a great team. But yeah, I think this has been a great successful start. If you do have any feedback, do drop it in the general channel of Discord and I'll note it all down and take it on for the next episode. And thank you all for being here with me. John, you've done great. John, Craze, Alex, you've all been great. And thank you everyone for watching. If you've got
thanks for having us.
You got any closing notes? Go ahead and say them now. Free for all, just talk over each other. I don't care.
Admire this.
Follow me on Twitter at Craforzi. It's on the bottom right of the. No, just thanks everyone for watching. It's awesome as ever, and there's been so many people watching as well. I did not honestly even expect this kind of number, so it's been awesome. Alex is just like mega chilling, like. Don't forget to follow all of the social media and all that jazz.
Yeah, exactly. Everything will be in chat. And Luke, I did see your question. I will be messaging you privately about that, as we do have stuff planned and in the works. So don't worry about that. And closing note, thank you all so much for being here. It's been great to work on this, and I very much look forward to next week's episode, and I'll hopefully have some more exciting stuff to talk about. And that's going to be it. So thank you all again. Thank you all for being here, and hopefully we'll see you all next week.
Oh, hang on. Before we end the stream, hang on. Hold the second. I think now would be a very good opportunity to use our viewers to raid another streamer, maybe speaking Welsh, if we can find that, just to give them a little bit of a kickback. Thoughts from the...
We definitely
Yeah,
will.
sounds good.
I've got an ending screen that I'll throw it on, and whilst that's on, I'll throw it over to somebody that I can find, hopefully. So, hopefully there's somebody streaming. We know, knowing all
Let's
of...
find someone.
Yeah, quickly, team, do your work. So, yeah, right, thank you all. It's going to be going on to the ending screen, and thank you all so much once again for making this first week so great. See you all later, guys.
See ya.
See ya.